Hello, 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 and welcome to C&V Sunday, the best Sunday morning Comicsgate show, because it's, well, pretty much the only Sunday morning Comicsgate show. It's easy to be number one when you're the only one. So, alrighty, today we are going to be talking. Our guest is going to be Erik Bitmanis, whose book here is Gray Matter, and we'll be talking to him in just a few minutes. But first, I want to mention that I have my own comic that is currently in the sign-up phase, Tilt 2, Superheroes Meet the Sopranos and the Sopranos Get Whacked. Links to both Erik's book, which is now funding on Indiegogo. There is a link to that in the description below. I've also dropped a link in the comments. Link to the Tilt 2 sign-up page also in the description below, and I've also dropped a link to that in the comments. So yeah, sign up for Tilt 2, and if you do, you will get a free Tilt magnet with your purchase. Just show you real quick. Here is the cover for Tilt 2. If you've ever seen the movie Under Siege with Steven Seagal, yeah, I'm drawing on a particular scene from that movie here. Basically the main character, Jennifer Poller, is going to be doing something of a striptease in a way, and using that to set up the mobsters who murdered her dad. Alrighty, and this is what the magnet will look like if you sign up now and then purchase the comic. The magnet you'll get will look like this, which is pretty cool. Hold on, what's going on, big guy? Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, don't worry about that, big guy. It's not on the screen anymore, so for you it doesn't exist. Alrighty. Let's see here. All righty, a couple quick things I want to talk about before I bring Erik on. Wanted to start with sorry about that. My browser crashed. Don't know why it does that, but let's try bringing this up here real quick. What's up, Charlie Bear? Okay, let me see if I can bring this up here without it crashing. Well, if you're all done with your candy, you're all done with the candy. All righty, this came into into comics the other day. Turns out, looks like report Wonder Woman 1984 will feature parallels between Donald Trump and villain Maxwell Lord. The main enemy is capitalism. I'm just going to say a couple of quick things here. This is from the first one is a comment from the director Patty Jenkins. Quote. Jenkins told Collider it was particularly the 80s because of the fact that was the height of everything we're now paying the price for. Not really sure what that means. She continues, it was like we thought for sure it could go on forever and there was going to be no price and you could just have exponential growth. Then it could keep growing and all of this excess. And so I think in that way we're talking about then, and we're also talking about right now. We're talking about what we're dealing with right now because that struggle is very much alive in our own psyche. I'm not really sure what any of that means, and I have to admit that does not bode particularly well for the movie, since I look at that and I'm like, does Jenkins know exactly what the movie is about? Looks to me like she has at least from this statement, there's a lot of muddled, somewhat unclear ideas. And if you're the director of the movie and your approach, what you're doing is kind of muddled in your head. That may reflect itself in the actual film. I hope not. As for this, it was like we thought for sure it could go on forever. Just very quickly, I just want to say, well, every time you have really good times, people it's not at all uncommon for people to think it can go on forever. I mean, people thought the 1990s could go on forever. I mean, the economy really started doing well in the last few years, and we thought that could go on forever. I mean, that's common. It's nothing particularly earth-shattering about that. And then just at the very bottom here, they ask, what do you make of this report from Collider regarding Wonder Woman 1984 and its parallels with Donald Trump? What do you make of capitalism being the villain of the film? Well, I'll just say this. After about 6 months of state governments having to shut down a great many parts of the economy, and we see what happens when free markets are interfered with in a very dramatic way, I'm not interested in a lecture on the evils of capitalism right now. And if that really comes through in this movie, I'll just have to say it's very bad timing. And then the last thing I want to mention here, let's see what's coming up on my screen. The trailer was released the other day, and well, now it's not coming up. But the trailer was released the other day, and you finally got a look at Cheetah, the Kristen Wiig character. Kristen Wiig, is it Wiig? I guess it's Wiig. Yeah. All righty, let's take a very quick look at that. And all righty, let's take just a very quick look at this, at the cheetah, what she looks like here.
Barbara, what did you do?
All righty. Let's see if I can stop it right on where Cheetah is. I'm not sure I can here. Yeah, all righty. I don't know what to say about that cheetah costume. I mean, they've been keeping it, very, very secret. You couldn't find any pictures of it online until they released the trailer now. And, it's not horrid, but it's, the fact that they were keeping everything secret, I kind of thought, they were really going to do something that was going to knock your socks off. So it doesn't really. I mean, it's almost kind of what I expected. And again, it's not bad. It's just, it doesn't blow me away. It looks like something kind of a little bit out of the movie Cats, which was, I guess that doesn't, that's not that's a little foreboding, but at least the costumes in Cats were pretty good. The movie itself was horrid, but at any rate. Okay, so enough of that. Let's bring on our guest now, Erik Bitmanis. How are you today, sir?
Hey, Doc. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing very well. Yes, guy from Red Bank, Tilt 2 coming out starring me. He's one of the gents who purchased the Get Yourself Drawn Into
nice.
Part 2. So
I signed up for Tilt 2, I think, yesterday when I saw your link for it. So I made sure to get in on that.
Tilt 1, I had signups where you could get drawn into Tilt 2. See, so
cool.
Sometimes a lot of people do it where you get drawn into the actual issue you sign, you buy, but I wanted to be able to get things out very quickly, so I decided I'll put you in issue 2.
Yeah, nice. And okay, cool.
He says this of the Wonder Woman, the cheetah costume reminds me of Cats. Yeah, it did. It was it
looked at me like that. The same thing for me too.
Well, it wasn't horrid. I mean, it doesn't, but it just they were keeping it all secret, and I really thought they were going to come up with something very original, and it's like, again, I don't know. The movie might end up being quite good. The first one I did enjoy, and I think it's really. Well, I'm one of those rare comic book people that actually really does like Man of Steel. That for a big Superman fans, that's not a particularly popular position, but whatever. So that's probably my favorite DC movie, but Wonder Woman's not far behind. So, alrighty. Well, do you have a screen that you want to share, or do you want me to bring it up on mine?
I got the pages right here.
All right,
why don't we do that?
Why don't we go ahead and press share screen, and we'll start talking about gray matter.
I want to. There we are. Yeah, that's what I want to share. Can we see that?
There we go.
Perfect. All right. Well, this is Gray Matter. So we've been on Indiegogo since Wednesday. We got off to a really quick start with almost 30% funded in the first, I want to say 16, 17 hours, but it's stalled a little bit since then, but I'm looking to pick that up. So we'll see how she goes.
Yeah, it was the same for me in my first campaign. I did very well like the first 3 days, and then I had about 5 days in there were almost nothing, and it's like, so, it's a lot of peaks and valleys in the funding.
Yeah, it happens. Well, it's like, especially when I've done like previous ones, you always know that, the start's usually big, and then it has that like plateau effect almost, or like the no man's land, where it's like, oh, there's a little bit of action going on or a little bit of activity, and then it picks up near the end, and it's trying to find ways to get more activity during, I guess, that plateau area.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at the plot here, and it reminds me a little bit of Marvel's X, where the everybody in the world has a virus that gives them superpowers except this one kid, and the Reed Richards is trying to get a hold of the kid because he thinks the kid possesses something for the cure. And of course, there's all these villains that are trying to get to him, get to the kid, and I like the plot. Cool. It's my problem is with the artwork, but I'm looking at your plot, which seems kind of similar, and your artwork looks great. So,
oh well, thank you so much. I'll pass the compliment on to Sarah.
Please tell us about the plot here.
So the plot is it's set in the near future, where cybernetics are now part of every human body. As you alluded to with the Reed Richards thing, everyone has a superpower type thing, but cybernetics slowly kill you. In that, like, it was never meant to have you're never meant to have pieces of metal in your body long term, and it eventually poisons your bloodstream, which then kills you. And in the book, we call that graying. And
I see.
Yeah, so the main character, Leah, is very far along in her graying phase, and she's just works as a street fighter, kind of just grinding day by day to see if she can get by. And then she suddenly comes across this one girl who doesn't have any of this graying, despite having loads of cybernetics in her body. And so she wants to get her to the safety of the inner city, while these many mobsters are trying to get their hands on this girl because she's extremely valuable.
Now, does anybody make it to old age with this graying? I mean, how soon are the cybernetics put into you? I mean,
it's more on the use factor. So it's like, if you have cybernetics in you and you're using them a lot, then that's going to speed up graying, versus if you have a cybernetic in you, but you're not using it that much. Maybe you use it once a day or once every couple days. It's really not going to affect you. You can live for quite a long time.
Fascinating. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way of dealing with, I don't know, you want to call them plot holes or inconsistencies, but there you go. Yeah, that does work. Okay. Tell us a little bit about, just tell us a little bit about your artist.
Sure. So I met Sarah on Reddit. I randomly came across one of her posts. I'm a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and she made she's also from the Toronto area, and she did I just came across, I'm like, oh, that's a really awesome Austin Matthews drawing. And so I just messaged her, be like, oh, like, this is so sick. Like, I write comics if you ever wanted to. I know she's done comics in the past. I'm like, oh, if you ever wanted to collaborate, let me know. And then we just started talking, and one thing led to another, where we collaborated we did a pitch for. I think there was a contest last year. I forget the name of the contest. It was run by Image, and it was to get like a small publishing run going. So I'm big into sports, and she likes sports as well. So we pitched a book called Closer that is set in the near future, where cybernetics again are involved. Maybe I'm really into cybernetics, but it's centered around the baseball world where cybernetics are allowed in the sport. And my main character in that story is one who doesn't have any cybernetics, and he's trying to hold on to a closing role for one of the big league teams.
Very nice.
And how far he wants to go in order to keep that role.
All righty. Tell us just a little bit more about the book. I mean, what are we going to see in Gray Matter? Maybe just a little bit about how the story unfolds without giving us any spoilers.
No, I can tell you all sorts of things. So it's what you're going to get in Gray Matter. You're going to get a good amount of action. I wanted to make sure that there was action in every book. I wanted to have at least a solid fight scene or a solid chase scene. I wanted you to be able to be like, this is the action part. I'm really excited to see this part. And then the other parts I really wanted out of Gray Matter when I was writing it is I wanted characters with flaws. I really wanted characters that are imperfect. I wanted to show that that there are characters who are going to pursue betterment for themselves, and then there are those that are going to be stuck in their ways and will never change. And you're going to see that a lot between Leah, who's the protagonist, and the antagonist, which is a mobster named Bogue. And both of them have varying pursuits, all in a very gray area. Nothing's really right or wrong. You could definitely see why someone like Bogue would be pursuing this young girl. It's not even a monetary thing he's pursuing her for. And meanwhile, Leah is pursuing it for other reasons. And so I really wanted to have that kind of gray area for the characters and make it interesting for the audience to get in here and be able to identify with a character, because it's really hard to identify with a character that is completely perfect. So I really wanted them to have these imperfections that people can then latch on to, be like, oh no, I totally get that.
Cool. Thank you for doing that, guy from Red Bank. And he says, I like it already. Well, that's good.
Oh, well, thank you. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. Why do people get cybernetics inserted, inserted in them or whatever? Why does that happen in the first place? I mean, if you have this graying process, why would anybody, wouldn't a parent say, no, I don't want this for my kid? I'm just curious as to what is there a rationale for that?
Yep. Oh yeah. So in Leah's case, it was a health concern. She had you'd see very early on in the issue very on in the series, there was an accident that caused her, in order to be able to live, to need cybernetics, which is why she has them. But other people have them just because it can make life easier. And as I said, if you don't use them a whole lot, you can still live a very long time. It's very similar in the way to people right now, they smoke because they enjoy it. And we know smoking's not good for your health. So, but you can live a very long life with cybernetics if you kind of take it slow, or you could live really fast and die young if that's the way you want to go, which some people definitely will. It's a vast life improvement. It allows you to do many things, but it comes with a cost.
Let's see here. Flawed characters that are not Gary Sues or Mary Sues. I haven't heard the term Gary Sue yet. That's a new one, but
I've heard it once. It's a very funny term.
Okay. Let me see here. A guy from Red Bank. I want to give you a wrench here. I'm trying to remember. I think.
Should I, if I'm still sharing the screen, if I switch screens to see what he's saying, does that screw anything up?
No. I'm trying to remember how I give somebody a wrench, and I don't remember how to do it now.
See if I can swap over there.
Okay. Well, anybody know how to give a wrench? No.
Now, what is a wrench?
Well, it basically gives him some administrative ability to drop link into the chat, and I'm clicking on over here. It says put user in timeout. I block user. I don't obviously want to do either of those, so that's not it. Can
you maybe drag him over to where I'm at down here?
No, that's not. Gosh,
the guy who loves comic books, man. I'm with you.
Okay, well,
I like this guy from Red Bank. We've only met just now, but you and me will get along great.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into these comics? You go ahead, and I'll see.
Sure. So I got into comics at a really young age. Just I played a lot of hockey as a kid, and so usually after practice on a Sunday, my dad would drop. We'd go swing by usually a convenience store. He needed to pick something up, and I would try to. There's a comic rack there, or there used to be comic racks in convenience stores. So I used to read a lot of Spider-Man when I was really little. I couldn't tell you what parts of Spider-Man because it was very intermittent and when I bought them when I was young. But I really like looking at the pictures and seeing Spidey fight people. So that was something that pulled me to comics. I also drew my own little mini comics when I was really young. Like we're talking like maybe 8 years old with little stick figures and stuff. So I did a lot there. I haven't drawn in a long time. But I got back into comics maybe in my early 20s, where I had friends recommending Watchmen to me, as well as a bunch of Moore books where they're like, oh, these are like really solid comics. You should read them. And I really like them both. V for Vendetta is still one of my favorite comics, but that's how I kind of got back into comics. And then writing them was just... So I originally started writing in my early 20s, and I wrote a lot of bad screenplays because I really wanted to make movies at the time. And I guess you only get better by writing bad stuff first. So I did a lot of that. And then I discovered once I got a little better that a lot of these screenplays I was writing would require gigantic budgets, something that I couldn't pull together with just me and my buddies and a camera. And I then was looking at reading comics as well and being like, well, I forget the first script I read. I want to say it was a Morrison script for Inhumans. Did he write Inhumans? Was it one of those? Anyways, I've looked at it. I'm like, oh, this is very similar to a movie script. I can try writing one of these. So it's a very different style. But I started writing full scripts, DC style scripts, maybe around my early 20s. So not long after that. And then I just got into it where I was writing a couple of things, and then I had a story, and I was like, oh, well, I can try to get this story. Let's see if I can get this going. And so then I did my first Kickstarter about 2015, 2016. Was successful with that, was working with an artist originally. And unfortunately, he disappeared a little bit after I paid him, which I think is a common problem for a lot of people getting started in comics, is finding good, consistent artists. And then I managed to run into a friend from high school who was also drawing comics at the time. And we started working together, and his name was Ross Zuko. So if you check out my very first series, Hardwired, Ross and me worked together on that all the way from issue 1, and we finished up the series at issue 5, which was a 52-page issue. It was a big one. Just last year we finished it, so we'll be doing a collected edition this year. And then I started Gray Matter last year with Sarah, and then we wanted to get everything in place. And now we have it up on Indiegogo. So there we are.
Outstanding. Tell us what are some of the tiers and the perks?
Tiers and perks, sure. So one of the big things we wanted to do, we wanted to make a really special variant for Indiegogo here. So we have the Gray Matter issue number 1 variant, where we're going to have a bunch of extra features. Like I have some of the behind the scenes stuff, and Sarah's early. You can see her drafts and works here. She works digital, so she can get a bunch of these early frames and kind of show what her thought process was in order to map out a scene or map out a drawing. And so we really wanted to pack this variant full of extra goodies to make it special, because we're only having this one on Indiegogo. And then one of the other unique perks, we do have a draw-in perk, which is you can be drawn into the issue with a line of dialogue. So we have a couple spots there where we're going to be slotting people in for those that purchase it. And then we have the custom commission, the double-page spread, which is fun. But we also have the ultimate tier up here, where you get a bunch of large cover posters, as well as I really love this first spread that Sarah did. And so I really wanted to make that a poster and show off. And I think that's something that could go nicely on a wall. So that's all there in the ultimate tier.
Very good. So what are some of the other tiers?
Other tiers, yeah. We have the original cover.
Now, by posters, that mean you get it. It's not a pinup, so it's not folded. Is that
11 by 17 cover prints? I've already looked at top loaders to make sure that it's going to arrive to backers flat. It's not going to be rolled up, and it'll hopefully be something they can put on a wall.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And then same with the double page spread posters. Another thing I want to. I've looked at the top loaders to make sure that it's going to be protected while shipping, and then arrive to our backers in pristine condition.
Very, very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched to have it up there and to see quite a few people hopping on board. So it's really encouraging to have that too.
What where do you I mean, is this going to be a continuing series, or is this just a
Yes.
one-off? Okay. All right.
This is the first issue of a continuing series. We have planned, I believe, 5 or 6 issues right now, and that's probably where it's going to end because I do like to keep them self-contained. If we were to do if we were to branch out in the same universe, it would be a separate story. But I
Nice.
like to eventually come to a conclusion where we have a nice, solid book that you can hand to someone, and be like, "This is what we did," and I'm pretty psyched about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's sounds good. Why do you prefer keeping them, closed and come to an end versus, kind of an ongoing series? Is it just
Versus an ongoing, I find sometimes with an ongoing series, you could have like a really, really solid arc, and you're like, oh man, this arc was amazing, and then you might have like 2 or 3 arcs that don't live up to the same expectations that you set out, and then you might have a fourth arc that's really great, but now someone has to read arcs 1, then 2 and 3 in order to even get to 4 for it all to make sense. And so
Mhm.
sometimes I really like the closed nature of limited series just because I know I can pick this up, I can lend it around, and someone's like, well, because a bunch of friends that I have want to get into comics, but they're like, where do I even start? And so with limited series, usually I hand them off with limited series. Like, start with this. Like, I really liked the Batman White Knight series that Sean Gordon Murphy finished, I think, a couple years ago because he's on the, what's it called now? It's another White Knight area going on, but he had, I think it's 11 or 12 issue, maybe 10 issue miniseries. But I have the whole thing, and just while I hand it to friends, like, oh, start there, see what you feel like. Or Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns is
Mhm.
another like self-contained one that is fantastic. Same for V for Vendetta, Watchmen, all self-contained stories that are really easy for me to hand off to friends.
Oh, very good. Very
Mm.
good. Okay. What other little sort of, little swag might you be, might you get if you if you back this?
Yeah, well, so we're looking. I had trading cards available for those that signed up for the pre-launch.
Hmm.
So we have one of those exclusive ones. I was hoping to get some out for stretch goals as well. Have a bunch of different trading cards. I really wanted to leverage kind of Leah's street fighting background and make it like one of those sports trading cards, where you have the stats on the back and you have like an image on the front, maybe with their fists up, like those old boxing cards. I think would
Hmm.
be really, really cool, and I'd really like to get to those. We'll see if we do get to them. I think it would be an awesome reward. That'd be something unique. Or if I see that maybe we're at 80% funded with like 10 days to go, I'll be like, all right, well, maybe I'll find a couple artists that can draw these cards, and maybe I'll add them onto a couple physical tiers and see how that goes and if people like it.
Very good. Very good. Now, do you have a stretch goal in mind, or?
Oh, so we 5,000 is what we need in order to make sure that Sarah has enough in order to be able to produce the book. But stretch goals after that, we were considering hiring out another colorist to do another cover, possibly. So to add that into the already physical rewards there. But we'll see if we can get out to there. And then again, as I said, the trading cards.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
Yeah.
get to your first goal first, and then other possible stretch
Oh
goals.
yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Anything else you want to mention here?
About gray matter, I think we've talked a bunch about it, but one of the things that I want to mention is just for fans that like cyberpunk, or that have like Children of Men, Blade Runner, or Last of Us, even, because you can see some parallels in my storylines with both Children of Men and Last of Us. That if they like those things, to definitely give gray matter a look, because I do think they would be right up their alley.
Okay, very good. Let me give me just a second here. I want to drop the link in the want to drop the link in the chat here.
The chat, yeah, cool,
Yes.
cool. And as everyone knows, Doc was one of my first supporters for Gray Matter. He was right on board right at the start.
I think I was trying to be number one. I think.
Yeah, you were very fast. I was like, oh man, that was quick. Yeah.
So, yeah, I just dropped it in the chat. The link is also in the description below. This looks like a real. I really do like the story here. I mean, it's a very, very just the basis for the plot here is very solid. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Human beings have this problem, and there's one person who doesn't have it. So maybe they are the cure, and lots of bad people out after that person, and one who's kind of not really it looks like to me, and now that this is that your protagonist here is not necessarily, not really a heroic type to begin with, but maybe you're going to move her into that role.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose there. Actually, she's definitely more of the anti-hero type, where it is I'm out for myself. But so she got the reason she starts helping this young girl, she sees a lot of her young self in this girl. And it's like, oh, what would happen if I got that shot early on rather than being stuck in the way she is?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, sounds really good. And why don't we finish up now with some odd news from United Press International? I always do enjoy.
Fun. I'm excited. Oh, and to answer Guy from Red Bank's question, yeah, I definitely like more noir stories. Those are my preference when I'm writing. So that's kind of the direction it heads in.
All right. Very good. Very good. Good question. All righty. And here we go. All right. Netherlands fights wild peeing with hemp-filled public urinals. I like this.
Oh, man. It's like, what happens if you have multiple people right there?
Yeah, so
small. Yeah.
I guess one at a time. The capital of the Netherlands has installed hemp-filled urinals in public outdoor locations around the city as a means of combating the long-time problem of wild peeing. Dutch company Urban Senses installed 12 green pea urinals in locations around Amsterdam that were identified by local officials as hotspots for public urination. I guess somebody's been doing research on this.
Imagine that. Imagine going around, you're counting all the different pee stains on like any given day.
Richard de Vries, inventor of the green pea urinals, said the city initially installed 4 of the urinals in 2018, and they have now added 8 more after determining the pilot program was a success. The result was a 50% reduction in wild peeing, de Vries told CNN of the initial toilet installation. It was a great success. Oh, what an awesome story.
Imagine being at the board meeting for that.
Yeah.
Well, here we have statistics. They got PowerPoints and flowcharts on this.
I wonder if this was like a city council meeting or something too to discuss this.
That's gotta be it. I love thinking of like the background of like, all right, well, we have wild peeing. What's our options, folks?
Yeah. My only concern here is this is another harbinger of the decline and fall of Western civilization. But other than that, this story is awesome. Now, I wonder if that is actual weed that they're growing there. Let's go back up to the. No, it doesn't actually. No,
I think it's just hemp.
Hemp. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm just wondering what they would do with the hemp once.
I have no idea. You really hope they're not going to make clothes out of that stuff because I know there's hemp clothes out there.
Yeah. Okay, well,
yeah, you go to that urinal, but it's just like the other thing is that most people just kind of pee on the side of buildings. That's
there you go.
That's the odd thing. It's I don't know. It's creative. I'll give them that. It at least could make like a communal spot. You can go and hang out by the garden urinal.
All righty. Where's the next one? Next one is this here.
Oh, did we freeze? I think we might have froze. Hold on, we'll just hopefully Doc will be right back. Oh, it's just me. Okay, there we go. I was worried we lost you there for a sec.
I learned this trick the other night and then promptly forgot it. Is you need to have. I use the the new one from the new browser from Microsoft for most of my stuff, because I think it's actually a little bit better than Google Chrome overall.
Mm.
But one of the things I learned is if you want to show stuff on your stream without it crashing, use this for StreamYard, and then use Google Chrome for yeah. Oh, the other thing about the wild peeing, I do wonder a little bit is how does it work if you're not male?
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like there's no real spot for you to sit up there.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I'm sure someone's gonna get real creative and they'll find their own solution. But we'll see how it goes. I guess they had a successful pilot project, so.
okay. All right, let's try this. Okay. There we go. All right, stealthy thieves steal 330-pound safe from Ninja Museum. And yeah, okay. A Japanese museum dedicated to the history and practices of ninjas was targeted by thieves who apparently knew something of stealth and speed themselves, stealing $9,470 in 3 minutes. I think it's Iga Ryu Ninja Museum, located in Iga-mi Prefecture, said there were no staff members inside when the late-night thieves broke in and triggered an alarm. The police were summoned to the scene and determined the thieves had used a crowbar to force the door open and made off with a 330-pound safe containing admission fees from more than 1,000 visitors. The museum says there was about $9,470 was inside the safe. The thieves are believed to have been in and out of the museum in about 3 minutes. The museum is dedicated to the history and practices of ninjas who were known for their skills in espionage, assassination, sabotage, and guerrilla warfare. But however, were probably not known for their skills in security.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
It left that out. Now, it doesn't look like they found the safe. However, I noticed something here in one of the other articles here.
Yeah.
And let's see if this is going to come up. All right. Contents of mysterious safe left on New York farm to remain mystery. So I don't know. A mysterious safe that appeared on a New York State farmer's property with a note attached will remain a mystery for the time being, the farmer said. Well, I do got to wonder, where did they,
brought it overseas, still can't crack it open.
It's a possibility. By the way, I noticed you do have a YouTube video. Why don't we finish by playing that on your...
Oh, sure. By all means.
Okay. All righty. Let's. Why don't you go ahead and bring that up and give it a play?
Oh, it's on my screen right here? Cool,
yeah,
cool.
it's on
Let's
your
see,
screen.
make sure it's sound gonna go through?
Got
this here.
Yeah, I don't have sound. Go ahead and drop it out, and you'll have one that'll be share your browser, and there's a little box on the lower left corner. Just drop out the share screen.
Drop out of the share screen?
Yeah, drop it out and then bring it back in. And when you share the browser, there should be a little square in the bottom left-hand corner that says share audio.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll rewind it here. So I go share screen right here. Gray matter, allow. It just says screen share. I'm not getting an audio option.
Do you have but are there multiple tabs on what you can share? Because one should say share whatever your browser is.
I can just share entire screen. Is that what we're looking for?
Give that a shot. Is that is there does that allow you to share the audio?
We'll find out here. It says my camera and microphone are sharing. I'm not sure otherwise.
Well, let me. I'll bring it up here on mine.
Okay, I'll stop share then.
Yeah, let me do that. All right. And
Man, good on those thieves. They actually stole from ninjas. I don't think too many people can say that.
okay. All righty. Hopefully this will work. All right. Can you hear the audio?
Oh, I hear it loud and clear. There we go.
All right, good.
Hello and welcome to Gray Matter. Gray Matter issue number 1 is a 28-page full-color cyberpunk adventure. Set in the near future, cybernetics are now part of almost every human body. But it comes with a drawback. Cybernetics slowly kill you. The fusion of flesh and metal was never meant to be a long-term relationship. The metal leaches poison into the body slowly over its use. The more you use, the faster the poison moves. We follow Leah, a young woman who makes her living slugging it out in underground street fighting rings. Leah lives waiting until her use of cybernetics finally causes the poison, known as graying, to kill her. Things change when she is offered a job to bring a young girl named Rachel to the safety of the inner city. This job brings money that can make the rest of Leah's life a little more comfortable. But what Leah discovers is this girl shows no symptoms of cybernetic poisoning, making her highly sought after by the crime lords controlling the outer city. What follows is a journey that is sure to push Leah to her breaking point, and possibly to a quicker death than any graying could provide. This campaign, we are offering Gray Matter issue number 1 and the Indiegogo exclusive variant cover. Both books offer beautifully rendered artwork, but only the Indiegogo exclusive variant features behind-the-scenes artwork, character renders, and a bunch of extra features. If you like your science fiction or cyberpunk a little dirty, scrappy, and full of grit, you'll love Gray Matter. Back Gray Matter today, exclusively on Indiegogo.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Thanks for showing that too.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I think we can wrap it up now. Erik, thank you so much for showing up. Again, do back his book. The link is in the description below, and do sign up for Tilt 2. Yeah. Alrighty. Erik, again, thank you so much for showing up and sharing your work with us. And yeah, hopefully I will be back next Sunday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, everyone.